Hey YouTube, welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about Dr. Umar Johnson and sort of his situation when it comes to shade and color bias, as I put it in the title, to appease YouTube. But yeah, I want to talk about, Dr. Umar Johnson's some comments that he's made fairly recently. One comment that I'm going to show he made sometime in 2019. The other comment he made was in 2020. And I just want to present this to you guys and afterward speak about the clips and give my thoughts and opinions about them as well. So, with all that being said, let's watch these video clips. Here we go.
You black men better leave them white girls alone before you end up like Bill. I ain't got nothing against the white woman. I respect all human beings. White, purple, orange, don't make a difference to me. But I reserve the right to protect the black woman above and beyond any other female, because she mine. She mine. She is mine. I had a Negro send me an email last week talking about, listen, brother, I'm with you, but my wife is white. And I married her right out of college. I didn't have no black consciousness. So what am I supposed to do? I said, how old is your youngest child? He said 12. I said, well, in 5 more years, you can sign your own Emancipation Proclamation. And if you need them light-skinned, we got light-skinned. We got French vanilla, we got lemonade, we got pina colada, we got butter almond, butter pecan, caramel, sweet brown sugar. It ain't nothing like some full-figured fudge.
Everyone that's had an issue with me so far that I can think of, all of them are of the light skin flavor. Every one of them can pass the brown paper bag test. I'm going to say it again. Every Negro I have went to war with in the conscious community can pass the brown paper bag test. I'm drawing a parallel between me and the Honorable Marcus Garvey, which is to say this. We are so used to leaders being light-skinned, and we are so used to our leaders looking like white Jesus that when they don't look like white Jesus, the people will follow them. The people followed Garvey more than any other leader you ever had. So the people don't have a problem following a dark-skinned leader. But Negroes who think they special, Negroes who think they got a right to lead because they light-skinned, get jealous of dark-skinned leaders. I'm going to just be honest. Everybody I had a problem with was light-skinned. Every one of them. I ain't had no issue with no dark-skinned leaders. They all been light-skinned. Brown paper bag or lighter. Brown paper bag or lighter. Every one of them. Every one of them, brown paper bag or lighter. And I do believe, psychologically speaking, that they take issue with the fact that I am of the dark complexion and absolutely proud of it. Absolutely proud of it. I remember I went to war with one light-skinned dude. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a crack. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a crack. So you got to go extra hard because you're trying to prove to yourself that you're a black man. I ain't got that problem. I'm melanated. I'm melanated. When I look in the mirror, I see a black man. When you look in the mirror, you see a crack. You got that Napoleon thing going on. You got that Napoleon. You see that date, August 21st. That's when I was born. 821. Bring it. Bring it. Little dirty midget. And again, I don't have a problem with my light-skinned brothers. We one family. No issue. But I had one beef with the one light-skinned dude, and all the light-skinned people start saying, Dr. Umar, you don't like light-skinned, and da-da-da-da-da, and you called him an albino. Listen, that was just me throwing darts during a war. That was just me throwing darts during a war. I have family members who are extra, extra, extra light. I got nieces and nephews, extra, extra light with green eyes, hazel eyes. I never got into that. I have never got into no light skin, dark skin. And I'm going to be honest with you. I believe one of the reasons I get the love that I get. I believe one of the reasons I get the love that I get is because everybody knows that I do not practice dark skin supremacy or light skin supremacy. That is totally against Pan-Africanism. I do not practice light skin supremacy or dark skin supremacy. They are both counterproductive for where we need to be going. I am not a light skin supremacist. I am not a dark skin supremacist. I am a Pan-Africanist. At the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, we will accept every color, every complexion. Like I said, I'll marry a super yellow light-skinned woman with green eyes if that's what the ancestors send me. I ain't got no problem marrying a light-skinned woman. I don't care how angry the dark-skinned sisters get. I ain't got no problem marrying a dark-skinned sister. I don't care how upset the light-skinned sisters get. African is African. The first color on our flag is red. The first color on our flag is red. The first color on our flag is red, and that represents the blood. It is the blood that makes you African. It is the red blood in your veins that makes you African. We come in every color. Some of Marcus Garvey's greatest fighters were super light skinned. Some of the greatest Pan-Africanists who ever lived were super light skinned. Look at Brother Malcolm. Look at Brother Malcolm, very light-skinned complected, but he was a Pan-Africanist and a hero of mine nonetheless. We are one people. We are one people of every color, and I will reject anybody who comes to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy trying to introduce dark-skin supremacy or light-skin supremacy. We will not have it. It is the red blood that makes you black. It is the red blood that makes you black.
All right, so you guys seen what Dr. Umar Johnson had to say. And it was very interesting because a lot was going on in those video clips. He was saying a lot of different things. Some things he was blatant with, some things it was like you got to read between the lines, you know. So I'll start at the beginning and say, like, you know, I noticed when he was talking about, say, you know, interracial relationships and saying that, you know, brothers need to leave them white women alone. I noticed that he did say, you know, he has nothing against the white woman. I noticed that. He felt the need to put that out there for some reason. Maybe, you know, maybe it could be because he doesn't want it to be portrayed as if he's attacking white women, because you know how that can be spun in the media, and then it can make him look like a kind of like an angry, aggressive, hostile black man towards white women, and you already know that Krakistan ain't gonna be going for that. All right. But also, I think that he may have thrown that out there. I don't know, just I guess let the white women know, like, hey, you know, I don't got nothing against you. Sure don't, because you may see me on the scene with Becky. Coming soon to a YouTube video near you. Right? Maybe. But I did find that a bit odd that he felt the need to put that in there. All right. He also mentioned that he reserves the right to protect black women, or either, did he say black women or black females? I'm not sure. Above all else, because she is his. All right. Emphasis on that. All right. And okay, that's good that he reserves the right. Hopefully he practices that right and takes full advantage of that right to protect the black women. All right. Just saying. You know, black women, if you ain't know by now, now you know. All black women belong to Dr. Umar Johnson. And he also spoke about a black man who sent him an email about pretty much, being woke and having a white wife. And, Dr. Umar Johnson was like, well, how old is your youngest child? And then he said, about 12. And then he said, about a few more years, you can emancipate yourself. And, quote unquote, come to the, well, he didn't say come to the black side, but I think that was what he was implying. Like, emancipate yourself and come back to blackness, or come to blackness. I'm not sure of his situation. But, come to blackness. And then here's where things get really interesting, because he said, emancipate yourself. And then he said, if you need them light skinned, we got them light skinned. I noticed that was the first place he went, and some people are going to say, well, he has a white wife, so maybe lighter, it would seemingly be applicable in this case because she would be more aligned with a white woman. And okay, yeah, that's true, but we're talking about two black men in this conversation who are both considered, quote unquote, woke and quote unquote pro-black. So that would be strange that at least Dr. Umar, kind of like they're starting at this place. They're starting at the lighter end of the spectrum. And, they're supposed to be pro-black with it, right? And honestly, I feel like that black dude is probably going to continue to stay with his white wife. Probably. And still claim pro-blackness, claim wokeness, and still be going home to white supremacy every night, laying next to white supremacy, right? Having white supremacy, have his kids, right? Continue to take care of his kids, etc., 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 right? So I don't really see that happening unless maybe his white wife leaves him, right? And by chance, if that does happen, well, perhaps he may gravitate towards the lighter spectrum or the darker spectrum, but he may just end up staying where he at. Keep it real. And I know that just kills some of you black women, because y'all black women, y'all always be hating on black men. Just because black men got options, just because every woman in the world want a black man. Right? The black man got the highest value on the dating market. Got the highest value on the sexual dating market. What woman don't want a black king? But don't nobody want you, black woman. But seriously though. But again, notice that the first option he presents is the guys with light-skinned women. And isn't Umar Johnson and the dude supposed to be woke and pro-black with it? So again, why would that be the first option? Just saying. I know some folks gonna be sensitive about that and be in their feelings and talking about we all the same, There ain't no differences, We come in so many different shades and colors and varieties. We sure do. And we gonna get into that right now, all right? This whole all shades and colors matters stuff. So Dr. Umar Johnson in the first video clip, he was talking about the flavors, black flavors, right? Like French vanilla. So I'm guessing that's maybe like white passing, maybe, or like super, 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 super light, right? Then lemonade, right? I'm guessing those are maybe like the high yellow sisters, right? Lemonade with it. And then he talked about pina colada, right? So I'm guessing those are the light-skinned sisters who are like Afro-Latinas, you know, the Afro-Latina sisters who are light-skinned, right? Then he was talking about butter almond and butter pecan. Uh-oh, uh-oh. So I guess these might be the women who are kind of like, brown, kind of like maybe, perhaps like maybe a peanut butter type of look to them, quote unquote, since we're using flavors here. And food, caramel, right? I guess the caramels might be on the lighter side too. Then he talked about sweet brown sugar. That's when he started to kind of slow it down a little bit, and get more sensual with it. Sweet brown sugar, right? And then when he talked about full figure fudge, that's when he really got just, sexual with it. Yeah. You saw that little dance he did with it, full figure fudge, right? And notice the crowd was cheering him on, you know, So I'm guessing the sweet brown sugar sisters probably would be like the brown skin sisters, right? Kind of like they brown skin, maybe like milk chocolate, And then the full figure fudge sisters, they may be more like the darker chocolate sisters, right? And you notice he did put a descriptor on that one. Well, you can say that the other ones had descriptors too, but he did put like full figure, so perhaps that's where his mind goes when he thinks of like darker skinned black women, right? Like, oh yeah, they got like, banging bodies, right? And that's not anything new, right? That's not anything new. Maybe if you're new to the conversation of colorism, but even people who are new to the conversation of colorism, usually, if they're at least women who are darker skinned and who do have like more, shapely bodies, I think they are familiar with that concept, if you will. But yeah, the crowd was cheering him on, and we do got so many different flavors. We sure do. And notice that, the variety, quote unquote, the flavors, quote unquote. Well, flavors, they are very emphasized when it comes to black women. That variety aspect, for some reason, is very much emphasized when it comes to black women. Why is that? And just recently, I showed you that video clip with Too Short and Sweetie. And, Sweetie had to come through and say, like, hey, black women, who are full-blooded black women, are awesome too. Yeah. And I bring that up to say that, like, this situation is not an isolated incident. And I'm pretty sure that the people who are watching kind of like smart enough to know by now that this isn't really an isolated incident. All right. This is pretty standard at this point, right? And I think some people do the all-inclusivity of shades for black women to be like all-inclusive and to be fair and not to, make anyone feel like they ain't a part of blackness and that they ain't black enough. Don't cry, biracial Becky. Don't cry. You black too, sister. You a black sister too. You a black queen. Yes, you is. You sure is. I don't care if you pop cracker stand. I don't care. You a black queen. And black queens need they black kings. I'll tell you that. Because that's what a lot of times that's what that really be about. like making sure keeping the dating pool options open, right? That's what that really be boiling down to a lot of the times. Because you saw how they did Doja Cat. You saw how these dudes did go Doja Cat now, right? You see how they do Tamara Mari, right? You see how they did Holly Berry, right? They ain't talking about, oh, we all black and one drop of black make you black. They were talking that before those women went on to explore their options, but not when they started doing that, right? And when it comes to colorism, unfortunately, many, if not all, pro-blacks do drop the ball when it comes to colorism. And the YouTuber who's very popular in the colorism conversation, she's like the queen and the guru of colorism conversations on YouTube. She has mentioned this before, and I do agree with her. They really do drop the ball when it comes to colorism for some reason. And honestly, really just pretty much any issue that affects primarily or exclusively black women, they tend to drop the ball with those issues for some reason. All right. And colorism is one of those issues. And some of these quote unquote pro-black leaders like do kind of tend to gravitate towards the lighter skinned black women or even biracial black women, and I find that to be a bit odd when the pro-blackness skips over the phenotypical, unambiguous, monoracial black woman. That's suspicious to me. And it's just like, where does that come from? And I don't know, maybe these dudes on some level, they want to have some proximity to non-blackness, but at the same time maintain their proximity to blackness. Kind of like, in a sense, having your cake and eating it too. Being able to ride the fence, and kind of like benefit from both sides of the spectrum. The pro-black side and the non-black side. And as quiet as it's kept, these dudes, while they do rail on about the system of white supremacy, as quiet as it's kept, in some aspects, they do adhere to the system of white supremacy. At least when it comes to like the women they're gravitating towards. The white man done told them that this is the woman they need because they see the white man with his woman and they want to have a woman like the white man. So they got to come through and get a woman that looked like she done been related to the white man. And that's just their secret plan. But, yeah, again, that's a bit odd. Why is that? One more thing I want to talk about before I end this video, and that is Dr. Umar Johnson saying that, he doesn't have a problem marrying a, very light-skinned woman with green eyes, etc. And he doesn't care if the dark-skinned sisters get mad or not, and that he also doesn't have a problem marrying dark-skinned sisters, and he doesn't get mad or won't care if the light-skinned sisters get mad. Very interesting. I bet he wouldn't have a problem, marrying, being with, the light-skinned women or woman. And notice when he described the light-skinned woman, he was a bit more descriptive of the light-skinned woman than he was with the dark-skinned woman. Some people may be saying like, oh, you're nitpicking. It's not really that big of a deal. You're making it more than what it is. But sometimes little subtle details like this tell a big story. So, and also Dr. Umar Johnson, he claims to be a psychologist, so he would be someone who would probably be in agreement with paying attention to the small details. He knows about that if he is a true psychologist, you know. Yeah. You know, and this is seemingly his defense to show that he is not colorist or color struck or has any bias towards shade and skin color, right? But you know, if he were to step on the scene with a very light skinned woman with, you know, green eyes, right? You know, I don't think that would help the situation. Like, he's using this to say that he perhaps doesn't have anything against lighter skinned black men, you know? I don't think that would be the best route to go down. That would be essentially a light skinned or mixed woman using the fact that she um, likes or prefers dark skinned men as a way to say that she doesn't have anything against dark skinned women. It just don't work like that. You know, it don't work like that. That just shows that perhaps you don't have anything against you know, darker skinned black men when it comes to dating, just like this shows that perhaps Dr. Umar Johnson doesn't have anything against lighter skinned black women when it comes to dating. You know, it shows that, but it doesn't apply to lighter skinned or darker skinned folks of the other gender. And ultimately, I just do all this, you know, and bring all this to your attention just to make sure that you know about who you are supporting. Because I know there's some black men out there who are supporting Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, and again, know who you're supporting. That's all. If it's cool with you, then that's cool. You know. But if it's like, I don't know, then you might want to take a minute to just really think about that. Yeah. But I'm going to bring this video to a close, and this video is going to be kind of like the first part, and I'm going to make a second part to this video. And in the second part, I'm going to discuss more so Dr. Umar Johnson's beefs with lighter skinned black men. So, you know, I think it might be a bit too much for this video, and I don't want this video to go on for too long. So again, what I'll do is I'll make this video part 1 and then make a part 2 to this video where I explore more so Dr. Umar Johnson and his relation and animosity and how he interacts with lighter skinned black men. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please let me know what you think about this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.